Good morning and welcome back to the Seasons of Self-Actualization mini podcast where we have 10 to 20 minute digestible episodes every Monday morning that will bring perspective, action tips, and accountability by being involved in this community. By the way, if you hear any noise in the background, the neighbors are doing construction, so I apologize if it's bothersome in advance. If you are new, make sure to say hi down below and let me know how you're currently doing today. Today I have as my drink a matcha love latte. I am actually currently experimenting with matcha right now because I've heard so many great things about it and I know that it has a lot of health benefits, and I've heard about the matcha coffee debate, so I wanted to see how it works for me. And not so coincidentally, we are going to be talking about finding things that work for us today. So if you haven't seen my last podcast episode, I'd recommend checking that out first because it gets the ball rolling on where to start when you are having low energy, and it guides you through the process a little bit more in depth to get you caught up to this point. But today we are going to expand from there, and by the end of this episode, hopefully you will have yourself a flexible routine laid out for you. So what is a flexible routine? My personal definition is having a few different kinds of regimens and rituals for a few different kinds of days. So for example, I have categorized mine into high energy, medium energy, and low energy days. And usually whenever I wake up in the morning, I can kind of gauge a little bit where I'm at in one of those categories. So if I have high energy, I kind of just wake up and feel like I am ready to go, like I can conquer the world and I'm just not gonna question it, you know? On those days, I put extra attention towards my goals and my dreams, getting things done that I find harder to get done on my low or medium energy days. On my medium energy days, that's kind of like my homeostasis. It takes some effort for me to get things done, like a little bit more, like I have to push a little bit through resistance, but not trying to force myself out of any kind of state. Just try to get like my quote unquote basic things done and like take care of myself the best I can. And that's kind of where I draw the line between like medium energy and low energy. So like if I feel like I have to force myself, then that probably means that I am in a low energy state. It's most likely for me mental health related. So I slow down and I actually just practice being slow and kind of doing soft life activities or very wellness and self-care related activities, like to a whole other degree. And of course, there are like different degrees of all of these days, and like sometimes I switch between doing like low energy in the morning and then high energy in the afternoon. Like you can mix and match and it's all good. I think it takes strength to have a flexible routine because sometimes it is the harder choice to say, today I'm gonna slow down. I think it encourages intuition because it's not about overriding your feelings, but it's learning about how to take them into consideration. And I think it promotes peace because you are leaning into what feels right and accepting that there will be all different kinds of days and moods and circumstances and feelings. I think this idea might resonate with a lot of you guys because lack of discipline isn't always the challenge. Sometimes the challenge is that we aren't all starting at the same points, and we need to be able to recognize what it is we truly need before deciding to override our intuition. If you have dreams and you struggle to just be okay, I get that. If you have a lot of different interests and you're still figuring things out, I get that. If you struggle between picking between healing and pushing, I get that. And I'm here to tell you that you don't have to subscribe to one or the other of anything. We can become flexible and we can become consistent at being flexible, and that is an option for you. Whenever I was trying to just do the same exact things every single day, because like I've heard of this, right? Like just like stay consistent, stay disciplined. Like I was definitely subscribed to that idea, but I found myself being really unhappy trying to be consistent enough to do the same exact thing every single day and feeling like I had failed after a few days, like over and over and over again because I just like couldn't stick to it. I would spend so much time trying to create the perfect routine, and then I would quickly realize that it like didn't work for me because realistically and personally, my big feelings take up space and I can't predict them, but they have a lot of influence over myself and my day. And I want to honor them. And I personally prefer choosing to honor them over being consistent and disciplined because I truly believe that it's not always a lack of discipline that's the challenge. I think that it was like lack of intuition about what I needed. I realized that I don't personally feel myself whenever I do the exact same things every day. And I slowly moved away from the societally pushed idea of you get where you want to solely because you have discipline. So now my goal is to honor the part of myself that needs to slow while also encouraging the part of myself who is afraid to shine. So basically I'm focusing on balancing healthy slow and healthy pressure. There could be a lot of different intentions, and once you kind of find that and then make your guide around it, I believe that routines don't have to be so intimidating. I've kind of found that when supporting myself became the #1 priority, that I started to become naturally more confident about the fact that I'm always going to be okay no matter what I end up doing today, and that brought me a lot of comfort. So how do we build this flexible routine? I personally started by making different lists for each kinds of days I have, like I mentioned in the beginning. But you can do this for like as many different kinds of days or moods you have, like for example, like sick days, PMS days, sad days, impatient days, confident days, like whatever you want. I've just found that grouping the 3 generalized categories of high, medium, and low has worked for me. But I listed about 20 different things, big or small, like little actions or tasks or mindsets that I could do more easily based on whatever energy level I had recognized for myself that day. I will give you some examples of some of the ones that I wrote, and maybe you can take some time to write what yours are. So for my high energy, I wrote down skincare, get ready, catch up on chores, do an extra load of laundry, knock out things from my to-do list, meal prep, exercise, film content, and I just have a bunch of other things that are like on that list that I can turn to whenever I'm like, I have all this energy, I don't know what to do with it today. So medium energy, I have skincare, get ready, work on content, go on a walk, romanticize life. And low energy, I wrote shower, skincare, comfy clothes, listen to podcasts, stretch, foam roller, eat something nutritious, journal, warm drink. I have either just thought of these, had a good experience with these, tried it out after finding it on Pinterest, and I don't really need to look at any kind of physical list anymore because I've just gotten the hang of listening to my feelings and remembering my favorite things to do when I had those feelings. And I think that after experimenting with it yourself, you will experience something similar. It can still be difficult to get through certain days, especially when I don't want to do what's best for me, but that's also a practice in itself. And just saying this is what I know I can realistically do and I'm going to choose it because I really do believe it's in my best interest is also a choice that you can make for each of those days. I think the main point though is just honoring yourself. Like if I wake up and I feel like I really just can't today, then I don't. If I wake up and I feel like I'm going to be so proud of myself for pushing through the self-sabotaging habits, then I do push. The first step in cultivating a successful routine in my eyes is to actually get to know yourself well, and you can only do that through experience. So it is about playing with all of these different things that you think you might like and then actually testing out and seeing if you do like them for those days. And naturally, you are going to be able to remember how you felt when you did those things, and it will keep on giving you perspective for the next time you're struggling to do it or even trying to force yourself to do something whenever you never felt better afterwards. We are actually building new beliefs when we take different action. It's like you're solidifying a new thought in your head. Like you have a thought or a new belief and you're taking an action to solidify it. So it is in a way its own practice, and we're practicing choosing things that are better for ourselves based on what we logically think we need. We are shedding pieces of our old identities by doing things differently, valuing things differently, and feeling differently, and I want to acknowledge that. The way that I look at this now is that the person who had been choosing to do all the things that they were doing was someone who might have not had the chance to get to know themselves because they were too busy with surviving and coping, and that's super understandable. And every time that that person has a chance to explore something new or try something new now though, or do something differently, they know that it's a privilege. I feel that way, and it makes it so much more special. It's not to say that we aren't going to be sad when we start to do things differently, but we make meaning out of the fact that we have a choice. When we start to choose new things, it'll also feel a little bit scary because of many reasons, such as what others might think or what we might think about ourselves, especially if we fail. But it has been embedded into our culture to idolize someone showing up the same day in and day out. We love predictability of a character, but that's not what we are. We aren't characters who always think the same way and do the same things and always only like the same things and stay in the same place. We are complex beings, and when we allow ourselves to be complex, we discover so much about ourselves and the world, which naturally makes us feel more fulfilled. This week's homework is to evaluate how you are feeling someday this week, like whether that's now, whether that's in the morning when you wake up, whether you pick a day and you're like, I'm going to be intentional about that. That is up to you. Just evaluate how you're feeling. Pick a practice or two that you might have wrote down earlier from this episode, from that list, and if you haven't done that, maybe do that now. See how you feel when you do it and if it works for you. Try to start cultivating some kind of list, some kind of flexible routine. Remember to adjust things as many times as you want, switch things up as much as you need, try new things, and embrace this fun, flexible routine process. I truly hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, do not forget to like it. Do not forget to subscribe. I post weekly mini podcasts. I post weekly long format content, and I'm also very active on my Instagram, on my TikTok, and on my short format content. I hope to see you guys in my next video to set yourself up for another great week. And until then, I hope you have a great day. Bye!